6:43 a.m., 3 minutes before your alarm. You've been waking up like this for years now. Body programmed. Same commute, same desk, same feeling you keep pushing down that something about this entire arrangement doesn't add up. You're making more than your parents ever saw. Solid benefits, respected company. By every conventional measure, you've made it. So why does your bank account reset to nearly empty every month? Why does a $900 surprise expense still trigger that stomach drop? Why are you making $95,000 a year and somehow living closer to broke than your parents did at $32,000? That's not bad luck. That's not poor discipline. That's design. My name is Sam, and today I'm walking you through the exact mechanism that keeps high earners financially stuck. Not theory, not motivation, the actual system, how it works, or why it works. In the specific way, it's probably working on you right now without you fully realizing it. If you've ever gotten a raise and watched it disappear before you felt it, if you've wondered why your salary feels like it's running through your hands like water, stay with me. This one might make you uncomfortable. It should. Subscribe if you want the truth about how money actually works instead of the version they sell you. And drop a like if this explanation lands. Let me introduce you to Marcus, 32, software engineer, makes $92,000 a year. By national standards, he's winning. Top 25% of earners, college degree paying off, resume that looks good, LinkedIn showing all the right signals. Marcus should feel wealthy. He doesn't. Every 2 weeks, $3,538 hits his account before taxes. After federal, state, FICA, and his 401k contribution that he was told he absolutely had to max out, he sees $2,419. That's what actually shows up. Now here's where the trap reveals itself, and I want you to pay attention to the sequence, because the sequence is the weapon. Marcus doesn't receive $2,419 and then decide how to allocate it. The system has already decided, before Marcus even sees the money, it's spoken for, fragmented, channeled, committed. Rent on his one-bedroom apartment in a decent neighborhood near work, $1,350. That's more than half his take-home gone immediately, not optional, not negotiable. The lease he signed 8 months ago when he got this job. Car payment on the Civic he needed to get to this job, $340. Insurance, because the bank that holds the loan requires full coverage, $185. Gas to actually drive to the job that pays for the car, $160. Student loans from the degree he needed to qualify for this job, $420. Phone because his job requires him to be reachable, $85. Internet because his job sometimes has him working from home, $60. The subscriptions he barely uses but hasn't canceled, $47. Groceries, if he's careful, $350. Eating out because he's exhausted from working 50-hour weeks, $280. We're at $3,277. He makes $2,419 every 2 weeks. He's $858 short every single pay period. Before we've even talked about utilities, car maintenance, medical copays, the gym membership he convinced himself he'd use, the work clothes he needs to look professional, or the social obligations that come with being a human being who works with other human beings. Marcus isn't living recklessly. He's not buying jet skis or taking international trips. He's just existing at the lifestyle level his salary told him he could afford, and existing at that level costs more than he makes. So what does Marcus do? Credit card. Not because he's irresponsible, because the math doesn't work. The $858 gap gets covered by debt that accumulates interest that makes next month's gap even wider. This is the salary trap's first mechanism. Income fragmentation. Your brain never processes that you're underwater because the money arrives in one number and leaves in 30 small pieces. You have all the signifiers of success. The apartment, the car, the job, the salary that sounds impressive when someone asks what you do. You have a lifestyle. You don't have wealth. And the trap is designed so you never quite notice the difference. Now let me show you the mechanism that keeps you stuck once you're in. Lifestyle inflation. You've heard the term. But I don't think you've actually sat with what it means at a mechanical level. Marcus got this $92,000 job 2 years ago. Before that, he was making $68,000 at a smaller company. When that offer letter came through at $92,000, he felt like he'd won. $24,000 raise. That's real money, life-changing money. Here's what happened in the 6 months after he accepted. His lease was up. He'd been living in a smaller place for $950. But now he could afford better. $1,350 seemed reasonable for someone making $92,000. That's only 15% of his gross income, totally within guidelines. So he upgraded. His old car had 140,000 miles and was starting to need repairs. He could finally afford something reliable. $340 a month for a 3-year-old Civic felt responsible, not flashy, practical. And his insurance went up to match. He'd been buying the cheap groceries, store brand everything. But he was making good money now. He started shopping at the nicer store. Organic, when it made sense. The good coffee. Small upgrade. Felt worth it. Groceries went from $240 to $350. He'd been packing lunch most days because eating out was too expensive. But now he was working longer hours, and the cafeteria at work was convenient, and he could afford it. Eating out went from $120 to $280. None of these were wild decisions. Each one felt justified in the moment. And collectively, they consumed the entire $24,000 raise before he ever felt it. His stress level didn't decrease. His savings didn't increase. He just upgraded his life to match his income, and the gap between what he makes and what he spends stayed exactly the same. This is the trap's second mechanism, lifestyle calibration. Every time your income increases, the system presents you with options that consume the increase. Nicer apartment, better car, higher quality food, small luxuries that feel earned, and you take them because you've been conditioned to see salary increases as permission to spend more, not as opportunities to build wealth. The cruelest part of this mechanism is that you did it to yourself. Nobody forced Marcus to upgrade his apartment or buy a nicer car. He made those choices freely. But the choices weren't random. They were the predictable result of a system designed to keep your expenses rising in lockstep with your income. And once your lifestyle requires your full salary, you're locked in, because now Marcus can't leave his job. He needs that $92,000 to maintain the life he's built around it. He can't take a pay cut to try something else. He can't take 3 months off to retrain for a different field. He can't negotiate aggressively because getting fired would be catastrophic. He's trapped, and the trap is upholstered in comfort. This is what people mean when they say golden handcuffs. You're imprisoned by a salary that feels like freedom. Let me tell you about someone I know personally. Lena, 37, senior director at a consulting firm, makes $180,000 a year. By every objective measure, she's successful. And she's just as trapped as Marcus. Why? Because her lifestyle requires $170,000 a year to maintain the house she bought when she got promoted, the private school she enrolled her kids in because the public schools in the area she could afford weren't good enough, the 2 car payments because she and her husband both need to commute, the vacations she takes because her job is so stressful she needs them to decompress. She got a $30,000 raise 2 years ago. She felt relief. Then her mortgage adjusted up. Her property taxes increased because home values went up. Her older kid aged out of the cheaper daycare into the more expensive before and after school program. Her car needed to be replaced because it hit 100,000 miles and started having issues. The $30,000 raise evaporated. Her financial stress stayed exactly where it was. This is the system's most insidious feature. You're not building wealth with salary increases. You're increasing your required monthly outflow faster than your income grows, which means each raise, instead of creating breathing room, just recalibrates the baseline anxiety. A person making $45,000 and a person making $450,000 can report identical levels of financial stress. Not because money doesn't matter, but because the system is designed so that required expenses scale with income. The pressure stays constant across every income bracket. And when you're living paycheck to paycheck, even a very large one, you're predictable. You need the job. You can't take risks. You can't invest in your own ideas. You can't walk away from situations that are grinding you down. Every entity that's extracting money from you, your landlord, your bank, the car company, they benefit from your trapped state. You're a guaranteed monthly payment. They've built their business models around the assumption that you'll keep needing that salary. But you don't benefit. You're working harder to stay in the same place. That's not wealth building. That's a treadmill with better scenery. Here's an exercise I want you to do right now. Seriously, pause if you need to, and actually do this, because it will tell you everything you need to know about whether you're trapped. If you quit your job tomorrow, how many months could you survive at your current lifestyle without income? Be honest, not theoretically. Actually, with what you have saved right now, if your answer is less than 3 months, you're trapped. Not doing badly, not being irresponsible. Trapped. One bad quarter away from catastrophe at all times. 63% of professionals making over $75,000 couldn't maintain their lifestyle for more than 6 weeks without a paycheck. That's not security. That's a comfortable prison where the bars are painted to look like a lifestyle. The salary trap has convinced an entire generation that this is normal, that this is what success looks like. Work hard, earn more. Spend more, work harder, earn more. Spend more. The wheel turns, you never get off because you've built a financial life that requires the wheel to keep turning. But here's the thing. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And once you see it, you can start to dismantle it. First thing you have to understand, income and wealth are not the same thing. A $150,000 salary is income. $50,000 in investments is wealth. One disappears the moment you stop working. The other keeps working whether you do or not. The salary trap keeps you focused on income, chasing raises, chasing promotions, chasing the next job with the bigger number. Because as long as you're focused on income, you're not building wealth. You're just running faster on the same treadmill. The escape route isn't making more money. It's widening the gap between what you earn and what you spend, and then directing that gap into assets instead of obligations. Marcus makes $92,000 and spends $94,000. He's trapped. If Marcus makes $92,000 and spends $75,000, he's on his way out. Not because $75,000 is virtuous or $92,000 is greedy, but because the $17,000 gap invested consistently becomes the foundation of actual wealth, the thing that eventually makes the salary optional. This feels backward because you've been taught that success means upgrading, better apartment, nicer car, higher quality everything. But upgrading your life to match your income is the mechanism of the trap. Refusing to upgrade is the mechanism of escape. When Elena got that $30,000 raise, she could have kept her lifestyle exactly where it was and banked the entire increase. $30,000 a year invested at 8% over 10 years is $435,000. That's money working for her whether she shows up to the office or not. Instead, she upgraded, and the $30,000 vanished into a lifestyle that now requires it. No wealth created, just higher overhead. The second thing you have to build is optionality. The moment you have 6 months of expenses saved, something fundamental shifts, not financially, psychologically. You're no longer desperate. You can negotiate from a position of actual strength instead of performed confidence. You can walk away from situations that aren't serving you. You can take calculated risks because the downside is survivable. That optionality changes everything about how you move through your career. The version of you with 6 months saved negotiates salary differently, takes on challenging projects differently, responds to workplace politics differently. And those differences compound into significantly better outcomes over time. The person who needs the job always loses the negotiation. The person who wants the job but doesn't need it has leverage. And leverage in career and in wealth building is everything. Third thing, start treating raises and windfalls as wealth building events, not spending opportunities. The next time you get a raise, don't let your lifestyle absorb it. Bank it. Invest it. Let it compound. Pretend the raise never happened and direct the entire amount into assets. That discipline, maintained over years, is the difference between a person making $120,000 who's trapped and a person making $85,000 who's free. The number on the offer letter is less important than what you do with the gap. And the last thing, the most important thing, stop measuring success by salary and start measuring it by freedom. How many months could you survive without working? How many decisions in your life are made from fear of losing income versus made from actual preference? How much of your time and energy is going to maintaining a lifestyle versus building something that lasts? Those questions reveal whether you're wealthy or just employed. The salary trap is sophisticated, but it's not inescapable. The people who break free aren't smarter or luckier than you. They just stopped confusing a good salary with financial security. They saw the trap for what it is and decided that comfort without freedom wasn't actually comfort at all. You're holding the keys to your own cage. The job that feels like security is the thing keeping you from building actual security. The lifestyle that feels like success is the thing preventing you from becoming successful in any meaningful, lasting way. Awareness changes behavior. You can't unsee this now. And that's the first step out. If this landed, subscribe. I break down the systems that keep people financially stuck and the mechanics of actually escaping them. Every video is designed to move you closer to freedom instead of just better paid captivity. Comment below. Where are you in this? What's your gap between income and spending? I read everything and I want to know where you're starting from. I'll